Welcome and good morning. Thanks for viewing Mike Ferry TV. It's the week of February 2nd. And isn't that amazing? We've already had 1 month of 2015 go by, disappear, gone forever in our past. How did you do in January? What we've discovered is a good portion of the nation, probably North America, I'm going to say, has had a very slow start to 2015. A lot of the great brokers I work with have asked me time and time again, why do you think it slowed down January 2015? I said, well, there's two issues. One is a lot of people in real estate had a wonderful, productive, exciting year 2014. Hopefully you were one of them. And as a result, we didn't finish strong in 2014. For those of you that are clients of ours, we keep saying time and time again, you work 11 months, not 8 or 9, meaning you work October, November, December, you work as if it was January 1st. And if you take that type of an attitude or mentality into the business, then your January, February is great because you have the overflow from your November, December. January was slow, not because of the economy, not because of the business, because of the agents. I hope you weren't one of them. At our very interesting, very fun, and very, really, I would say, productive production retreat, which took place 2 weeks ago in Anaheim, we had a couple thousand great agents there. And one of the first things I did is, of course, as I always do, I talked to them about the importance of skills. Because, you know, the truth is, we're only as good as the skills we have. The skills, of course, determine our outcome results, productivity, contracts, and income. But our skills also show the level of confidence that we demonstrate when we're talking to a buyer or seller. So skills become a critical part. And in this 3 days production retreat, I talked a lot about skills, including how to add 25 deals to your annual production. And most of that part of the talk I did was skill-based. But what I did to start was this. I said, okay, we're back in grade school or high school. It's 25, 30 years ago. Your report card is coming out on Friday, and you want to get home before your parents get home to see what that report card says. And of course, the old grading system, as we all know in school, was you could get an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. Okay? I never understood why they skipped E, but they did. And of course, if you remember, the A means you're exceptional at your skill, your knowledge, your performance on that topic in school. The B was you're just below exceptional, but you have the ability to move to become the best, which is an A. The C, of course, was average. And of course, for many of us, starting with myself, I was thrilled if I got a lot of C's, that means I wasn't involved in D's, which was below average, or F, which was failing. So what we did at the retreat is I talked to them about, okay, let's take the basic skills. Your ability to manage your time, to prospect, do lead follow-up, pre-qualify, make a strong listing presentation as an example, show property professionally, handle objections, close the sale, negotiate the contract, and then start over again the next day. How skilled are you in each of these areas? If your broker and I sat down and we did a report card on you, would you get an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F on time management? Where would you land in the area of prospecting? Way too many C's and D's in that area, okay? How would you fall in lead follow-up, pre-qualifying? So let's take an example. I took our pre-qualifying questions this morning before I did this program with you, and I said, okay, let's talk about the pre-qualifying as an example of the skills involved. Because see, what I hear all the time is this, Mike, I know I have to pre-qualify. I don't always do it. And I go, well, why? Well, sometimes I know the people real well. They're a neighbor, they're a friend, they're a past client, center of influence, and I know their circumstances. Well, isn't that what the average agent would do? Isn't that what somebody below average would do? And certainly you could create a failure with that behavior pattern. Because the truth is, it doesn't matter how well you know them, if you don't really know the answers to the questions, you can't perform at a high level. So the highly effective professional listing agent pre-qualifies 100% of the time, no exceptions. But let's take an example. Let's go through the questions and see where you are in asking to see where you would grade yourself. So obviously, question number one, if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning to list your home with me when I see you on Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock? All right, grade yourself. Would you ask that question every time? Would you not? If you don't, why not? What's holding you back? What have you got to lose with that question? Well, Mike, that question is just a little too strong for my personality. Well, maybe you need to think about upgrading your personality into a stronger sales personality. Maybe you need to go from C average to B towards becoming one of the best of the best. Second question, are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your home? Oh, I don't like that question, Mike. Why? I don't like the answer. I don't want to know if they're interviewing more than one agent. So you want to be surprised? You want to waste your time? You don't want to know who your competition is? Isn't that, again, an agent that is average or below average? Tell me again, where are you moving to? We don't know where we're going to move to. Well, then, how do you and I work together as an agent and a seller if you don't have the motivation, the drive to go someplace? I have to know where they're moving to. And how soon do you have to be there? Ooh, Mike, I don't like that question, because what if they don't have to move for 9 months? Why are you going out on a presentation this week? When I see you, how much do you want to list your home for? We hate that question because it's too confrontive. Wait a minute. We have to know their price for us to establish with them fair market value. But Mike, they never listed fair market value. Okay, is that a seller problem or an agent problem? Or is that what an average agent would do? Well, Mike, most of them won't tell me the price. Great, so the script says, as a professional real estate agent, I study homes and prices every day. Therefore, I assume you'll list with me at a price that will cause your home to sell, correct? Well, yes. What price won't you go below? See, again, the average agent is afraid of the conflict. And then, of course, watch the next question. How much do you owe on the property? You know, Mike, sometimes I don't like to ask that question, because if they want $325 and they owe $319, there's no equity, so therefore I have to raise the... Wait! Why are you in that conversation with yourself or with me? That's a below average type of thinker. You ever thought about selling it yourself? Well, you and I both know that a good portion of all people think about selling their own home. They don't, because great agents like you list them. Will you help finance the home for the buyer, or do you want your cash out? Pretty easy question to ask. Would you describe your home for me in detail? I have to know what the property is like before I walk in the door. The more detail I get, the better off I am. I'll be sending over a package of information. Would you take a few minutes and review it before I come out? Okay, no problem, because they always say yes. Do you have any questions before I arrive? So what are the two questions they always ask? Okay, the number one question is, what commission do you charge? And number two, a lot of them will say, what are you going to do to get my home sold? Well, that's, of course, what we'll discuss when I get to the house. So you know, our meeting should last between 5 and 25 minutes. Is that okay with you? They say yes. Okay, now think, okay? I got an A in my report card because I ask every question every time, no exceptions. I do with energy, enthusiasm. I ask the questions as they're written. I listen to the answers. I got a B in my report card because I really do ask all the questions, but a couple of them are a little hard for me. I got a C in my report card because, well, you know, it's just not really my style. And I don't like to press too hard. I got a D in my report card because the truth is I don't ask the questions. And I got an F in my report card because once I go out, I don't get the listing because I wasn't prepared. A, B, C, D, F. We're trying to get you to become an A student. Too many of you are C students because you're average and want to remain that way because you don't have the skills. Look at your skills. Look at how your broker and I would rate you. What would your report card say, and what do you have to do next? Talk to you next week.